Today's been a little bit of a relaxation day after all the stress of the last few days. And we basically just watched a couple episodes of Salvation, a science fiction show that we're currently binge watching. And it's something that I want to talk about in the future, but I have to think about it a little more. The whole impact of what the future depiction in science fiction movies and what the future just in general, what that is about and what that inspires, at least for me. But today I want to talk about something that has to do with this project. This project is basically a YouTube channel that I've started with a friend a couple of years ago. And at this point, we have 2,500 subscribers approximately, but we're not doing any videos anymore for it. And in some regard, I would say that is a sad thing, but on the other hand, it's also a good thing. The reason why it came up to me is that today, Candice was cooking or making something, and we were thinking about how can we make cookies, because we would like to have some cookies, but we don't want to just buy them at the store because most of them have a lot of sugar in them, or they have flour and all kinds of things that we at the moment don't want to have. So I was like, what can we do? We have an oven right now. Because of this new place, we have an oven. And so I came to the conclusion that there's banana oatmeal cookies. You basically don't need any other ingredient except for bananas and oatmeal. And you can add other stuff, but it's not necessary. But the cookies are really, really nice. And so I came back, okay, let's look up this recipe because I know we did a video on this on baking process, and I will link the channel in the description below. And so I looked at the site, and what came over me was a feeling of being proud as well as regret in a way. Like the proudness is, what have I done in the past? Like this, I have built that with my friend, and we have built a YouTube channel that looks professional. The videos are good. Of course, looking back, they could be better, and I see all kinds of problems that I would do differently at this point. But for the time, we did really good work, and we put stuff online that is evergreen, that is still valuable. The recipes are still good. People are still enjoying them. Some of the videos have 20,000 and more views. This is really a success of my past, and it's very easy for me to forget that. It's very easy for me to forget that we built that without any external funding, without any help from other people necessarily. We did that with our own time, with our own money, with our own equipment and knowledge. And it's still going strong. The videos are still showing, people are still watching them, people are still interested in it. It's just that we have other priorities, so we had to shift away from it. But if you remember, a couple days ago, I was talking about how I compare myself to other people very easily, and I'm learning to step away from that and try to look at it from a positive perspective. Well, this is one of those cases where it's a positive perspective to look back onto this project and say, this is where I've been, this is where I am right now, and I was capable of doing this project. I was capable of building baking process to what it is today, what it has become within those 3 or 4 years that we have worked on it. And just about any other project can go the same way. Looking backwards, one half of me is, what have we done there? How could we have been better? And that is the regret part. Why did we even stop? And this could have been so much more. But the other half of me is, I am on a trajectory to building something completely different, something better, and something that is my own. In this case, for example, baking process was something that I did with Ronnie together. So we always had split partnership, and I hid myself. I was stepping behind the camera, and I was only working behind the camera, never actually showing up on the channel. And that is very different to where I am today. But I have the feeling that building baking process was necessary for me to be able to finally step in front of the camera and build this channel, build my own persona, and find the strength to do all these things. So one thing that I can suggest to you is look back into your history. What have you achieved? Maybe you've gone to school, you got good grades, you did good projects. Maybe you had a project on your own and that went really well. Maybe it didn't go as well as you would hoped, but maybe look back from nowadays and see where you came from and what you built out of that during that project or during that time, that year, that semester. And look from a perspective of growth and excitement about what the past already gave you and what you built over that time frame, and look forward and imagine what could be possible if you put your time to something for a certain amount of time. One thing that comes to mind for me is that nowadays everything has to happen tomorrow, basically now, but at the same time, schooling never happened tomorrow. We always had semesters, we always had school years, and within those years, everything else basically didn't matter. And making that choice for a project is also something that is very growthful for me, growthful learning to understand that baking process didn't go to 2,400, 2,500 subscribers within a couple of months. It took us a couple of years of deliberate uploading every week to build that kind of growth, build that kind of community and following. And the same thing is true with everything else. It's just sometimes hard to make that choice to stick with something for a longer time frame instead of just saying, if I do 3 videos and they're not successful, I'm giving up. And I'm not giving up with this. I have learned that things sometimes take a longer time, and I have to invest my money, my time, my energy into things to build them up. But eventually, through that process, through that production, it actually ends up becoming something viable and much more powerful. So there you have a couple of thoughts that I came to for today. And now I'm going back to the computer, editing yesterday's video, and probably watching another episode or 2. Have a good day, enjoy life, make the best of it, and remember the positive things that you have done over your life, and then look into the future.